Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Skin's looking pretty good today. I mentioned this a little bit on Instagram and I'm going to talk about it more probably next week. But I've been through a whole rosacea journey and I hadn't noticed until just now that skin's looking pretty good today. I'll talk about that next week. Hi, how are you? I hope things are going well. I'm really glad to be back on YouTube, and I'm kind of keeping a list of things I want to talk about when I'm here. And the next one is going to be rosacea. I don't know if you care, but that's been a whole thing for me. I am doing well. Since the last time we talked 2 weeks ago, when I checked in 2 weeks ago, I was weighing 213.8. Today I weigh 210.8. So in the last 2 weeks, I have lost 3 pounds, which I am very excited about. I'm aiming for living in the 180s. So, I'm about 30, 35 pounds away from my goal, and I think I can do it. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. I think it was on Instagram or maybe it was on here. Somebody asked me if I'm still eating keto, and the answer is not strictly, but mostly yes. If you've been here a long time, you might recall that I was diagnosed as type 2 diabetic back in 2015 when I was 29 years old. So I can't really tolerate carby foods, sugary foods very well at all. And so my doctor actually recommended, my endocrinologist back then recommended a low carb diet, which transitioned into keto. And I did really well with that for a long time. And to this day, I'm not tracking macros right now. I'm only tracking calories. But I prioritize protein. Do I ever eat a bite of rice? Yes. But I don't really go carb heavy because it makes me feel bad. I found these really wonderful specialty ice creams in New Orleans. One of my friends started working at this place that makes handcrafted specialty ice creams. And to be a good supportive friend, I started buying some. They have different flavors and drops every week. And honestly, after 2 small spoonfuls of ice cream, I feel sick. I feel terrible. So I'm very grateful actually that my body kind of forces me, keeps me in line, keeps me in check. I can't really eat stuff like that. It makes me feel bad. Really bad. And so breads, rice, pasta, I don't really eat any of that. I had been posting that I've been eating popcorn from time to time. I do. For a while there it was every day, but not every day anymore. And popcorn didn't bother me, so whatever. And I was tracking the calories. In terms of sweets, sugary, especially sugary drinks, that stuff upsets my stomach immediately. So I'm kind of intolerant to carbs, and I'm happy about that. It's totally fine by me. And that's just how I live my life. So am I following a strictly keto diet? I guess not. I'm not tracking macros in that way. But I mostly eat protein. I mostly just eat meat and eggs and cheese. It's very, very simple. Fish, seafood. I don't even make dishes, I don't make sometimes I do, but I very often just eat ground beef with sour cream, or grilled shrimp with sour cream, or pan-fried sausage with sour cream. Protein shakes with my coffee. Simple. I eat very simply. So is it strictly keto? I guess not. But is it high protein? Yeah. Low carb? Yeah. I'm not tracking macros though, so whatever. So as far as losing weight this go around, if you watch my video from 2 weeks ago, I mentioned that my high regain point was 226. So I'm glad to be down 16 pounds. What am I doing? It's slow. That 226, I clocked it in October, and here we are in March. So it's going slowly, but it's going. And honestly, sometimes I think slower is the best way to go, or hopefully easier to maintain down the road. I'm not doing anything extreme. I'm not doing anything other than counting calories and trying to stick to about 1,500 per day. For now, I am losing 1 or 2 pounds a week at 1,500 calories, which I think is great. If I can keep going at this pace, that's good by me. I have not really been lifting, and I know I should. I know I sound like a broken record, but I don't enjoy it. I really don't. It's so boring to me. It's hard to motivate myself or care. I I don't know. I know I have to do it because I know it's good for me, and I know it'll increase my metabolism, and I know it'll help me lose weight faster. I haven't prioritized it, and I know I should. I never ever stop doing cardio because I love doing cardio. So I still do spin classes, step classes, I swim on occasion. I don't run because I'm not a runner, but cardio generally, I just really, really enjoy. Oh, I've been doing the Stairmaster a bit because I'm prepping for a 14er, which is a hike, a climb up a mountain, not like rock climbing, but like hiking up a steep mountain, like 14,000 feet. So Stairmaster's helpful for that, but also pretty boring. But it's fine. My point is, somebody asked if I'm still exercising. Cardio all the time. I love it. Yes. Lifting, I haven't in a while, and I probably should. What else? Yeah. What have you guys been up to? It's been a fun couple of weeks around here. My little nephews were in town, and Mardi Gras New Orleans this year was early March, but a week or two, parades start like weeks before actual Mardi Gras day. And there's one parade in particular that's super cute. It's called Barcus, because one of the like big normal parades is called Bacchus, right? A lot of them are themed after the Greek and Roman gods. But there's one that's called Barcus, and it's a dog parade, and it's so cute, and I never get to go because it overlaps with another parade that we have family in. So anyway, that day that parade was supposed to roll, the weather was really bad, so they postponed that particular parade to last weekend, post Mardi Gras, which is kind of weird. But my little nephews were in town, and we took them to Barcus, and it was so cute, y'all. When I tell you, like, probably over 100 dogs, all in like costumes and little floats and like decorated, and like the people that were walking with them were all like decked out and dressed up, and it was through the French Quarter, and it was so fun. And like to go with little kids who love dogs, like it was really, that was a fun experience. What else? We have season tickets to the Sanger Theater in New Orleans, which has a lot of Broadway shows that come through. We saw Funny Girl recently, which I had never seen. I love Broadway musicals. Musicals generally. I don't know why I said Broadway. Off-Broadway as well. I love musical theater. I love theater in general. And I had never seen Funny Girl. And obviously you think of Barbra Streisand. I think of Barbra Streisand. I'm old enough to think of Barbra Streisand when you think of that role. And I know some people think of that girl from Glee, whatever her name is. I don't think of her. I only watched like the first season or two of Glee. I found it to be kind of silly. I don't know. At first it was fun, but then it got real dumb real fast, in my opinion. And I think it went on and got worse. I don't know. Leah Michele, that's her name. I think when they revived Funny Girl on Broadway a couple of years ago, she played the main character. But I still think of Barbra Streisand. And I was talking to some friends about this, and they're like, oh, I don't really know Barbra Streisand, which was just crazy to me because like people who love music and musical theater should definitely know Barbra Streisand, but maybe I'm just old. I don't know. But we saw the touring cast, and it was wonderful. The main girl was fantastic. So that was a fun outing. What else? I donated blood, which I have been doing since January of last year, 2024. That was one of my New Year's resolutions, and I have stuck to it. Every 8 weeks I have donated blood, and it's totally fine, and it's very easy. My blood type is O positive, so I'm a universal donor, and I have never had a bad experience. It's always, the very first time I went, the girl who was like doing the sticks was kind of new, and when she took the needle out, kind of bled a little, but I have never felt like sick or nauseous or anything like that. And most of the people at like the blood center where I donate are very, very skilled. Like the next day you barely see like a pin prick dot in my arm. So they're great. But it's funny because I go so often now, I can kind of like track how I feel. And sometimes I go and I feel totally normal afterwards. And sometimes I go, I'm tired for like a day or two after. And not like I can't get out of bed, but like extra tired, as if I hadn't slept well or something. And I think, one, I've noticed that when I go right after my period, I guess just my iron is low. And two, if I haven't had like meat, good red meat before and after, that absolutely affects how I feel. And this past time when I went, I realized not until I was there that the day before I had only eaten chicken, and like the day before only seafood, and so I had not really had red meat, and then I was just like tired for 2 whole days. but I had a good burger and then I felt better. But this is one of the things that one of the most valuable things that I've learned throughout this entire weight loss process over the last 9 years that I've documented here is that food affects the way I feel, like physically and mentally. And it sounds so simple and it sounds so silly to say, but I wish somebody had taught me that when I was much younger, that some food gives you energy, some food makes you lethargic, some food puts you in a good mood, some food puts you in a bad mood, and some food makes you feel really tired. Honestly, when I eat like sugary stuff, like I was mentioning earlier, not only does it upset my stomach, it also makes me sleepy, like sleepy. So sometimes if I'm like, I can't sleep, I go eat like a spoonful of ice cream and I go right to bed. Not good, but like, whatever. I think it's important to keep track of what things affect you in what way. And it's hard when there's a lot of other outside factors, right? Like how much you've exercised and like your mood and work and life and right? A lot of things can impact this, but I feel like donating blood, for example, is something that I've done so many times that I can kind of like control for other things to like keep track of mentally how certain foods affect the way I feel afterwards. So that's something I try to just always keep in mind is when I choose to eat something, is it worth the payoff or like the consequences? Sometimes the consequences are I'm going to feel terrible, but you know what? The thing was delicious. So like, it's fine. I'm aware that that's going to happen. And it's like worth it. That's the price to pay. Sometimes I know this is going to make me feel terrible and it's really not worth it. Sometimes I'm like, I really need to be energized today. So I like be satiated and not be hungry all day. So I eat like ground beef and sour cream, which is most days. But you know what I mean? That's been a really good and valuable lesson to have learned over the last decade and to continue learning over and over again. And this like donating blood thing has been a good way for me to re-evaluate that in like a controlled environment, kind of. But yeah, I think that's it. Thank you all so much for the book recommendations from last week. I have put many of them on my to-read list. I recently finished, oh gosh, you guys, I've been on this kick. So like back in September, I guess, it was early September, I got really sick. And in hindsight, it might have been the flu. I'm not sure. I get a flu shot every year, but it was like the worst cold ever. I was actually in bed for 2 whole days, which I never do. Like I am never in bed unless I'm going to sleep. I'm not one of those people who like reads in bed or watches TV in bed or eats in bed or hangs out in bed. Like I'm only in bed if it's like 10 p.m. and I'm going to bed. I'm going to sleep. Anyway, back in September, my husband had been really sick and then he got better and then I got it, whatever it was, bug that was going around or the flu or who knows. And I actually stayed in bed for 2 whole days. And I binge watched The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, which let me know in the comments if you've seen it. I do not watch reality. I don't watch TV, period. We don't have TV service, but I really don't watch reality TV. So like all the Housewives and Love is Blind and all the things that people talk about, I've never seen any of them. But this was just like recommended on the Netflix homepage. That's how it goes, because then I realized it had just come out like 2 days prior to the day I was sick. I watched The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And oh my God, I watched all of it in like a day. It was only 8 episodes, but I got really hooked on this. I have this like, it's such a hard to describe, a fascinating culture. And I mean, not only LDS culture, but also like young influencer culture and reality TV culture. And those 3 things coming together, just fascinating, like watching a train wreck in slow motion. Anyway, so every time I see kind of things like that pop up, I'm intrigued. And so I recently read a book called, oh God, what was it? House of My Mother by Sherry Frankie, about, separate from The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, but about this LDS woman who, like 2 years ago, I think, got arrested for abusing her children. But it was an autobiography written by her oldest daughter. So also like very much in the realm of like trash pop culture, which is really not where I live, which I think is why it's so like fascinating to me. Maybe if I watched all this like trash pop reality housewives stuff all the time, then I would be like, just another show, who cares? But I'm just like, it's hard to believe it. I don't know, like they're so different. They're so different. And I don't mean LDS people, I mean like reality TV 20-year-old influencers. I don't understand it, and so I'm just like fascinated. Anyway, so that's the last book I read. I finished it last week. And this week I started James by Everett somebody. I don't remember. I should have thought about that before I started the sentence. But it's on the New York Times bestseller list. And I think I'm going to enjoy it. I only just started, but thank you for your recommendations. I've also, since I haven't been on Instagram for the last several weeks, gave up social media for Lent, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts. I mean, I kind of always listen to a lot of podcasts, but that's what has filled my time more. And over the last probably like 2 years, I've gotten really into theme parks. It's an interesting thing, and maybe I'll talk more about this at some point, but I grew up going to Disney World every year for 2 weeks with my cousins right after Christmas. Like the day after Christmas, we would leave New Orleans, go to Disney World, and my uncle had a timeshare there, and we would spend New Year's there and then come back to New Orleans, and then they would go back to Mexico. And I have a lot of nostalgia around Disney World. That's, because I grew up going from like ages 5 to 15. And only recently, maybe like 4 years ago, I might have mentioned this on here, when my oldest nieces started competing in the cheerleading national championships, which happened in Disney World. They started inviting me to go, and I started going with them, and I feel like now I have gone a lot more often. Like there was a full 20-year gap where I didn't go at all to any theme park, and so I started going to Disney World again more frequently, and I went with my cousins again, all as adults, in like December of 2022, which was wonderful. And I'm so type A, as you probably know, that I love, in terms of like travel generally, I love planning and researching. And if you love planning and researching a trip, Disney World is the place for you, because there is endless amounts of information on how to do it properly, and I love it. I love the like hunt of it all. Sure enough, every time anyone has gone with me in the last 3 years, we have hit every single ride and never waited more than like 20 minutes. When I'm talking like strategy, statisticians, statistical models for wait times and wait time inflation, and like I have researched it and studied it so in depth. I love it. And there are several podcasts that are very good regarding this, but right now, the point I'm getting to is my current obsession is Epic Universe, which is a new theme park that's opening at Universal Studios Florida. It's opening at the end of this month, so employee previews have begun, and I'm just very excited because I've listened to so many podcasts and read so much about the development of this brand new theme park. It's just like a fun little hobby for me. And honestly, so I have a separate social media handle for travel, and the people that I follow on there are primarily theme park people, because it's just a happy place to be, like, so I have like my personal account where it's just a couple hundred people I personally know. I have this account where every time I log on, it's like diet and weight loss and diet and weight loss and diet and weight loss, and that can be a bit exhausting to like fill your head with. But then my travel account is mostly like Disney and Universal people, which is just joyous, and I'm not like Disney obsessed, Disney as a company, like, but the type of people who enjoy going to theme parks frequently and the type of content that they're making is the type of content I really enjoy consuming. So I miss that right now because I'm not on Instagram, but I've like been listening to a lot of podcasts, especially since Epic Universe is about to open. I do plan to go, it opens in this year, May of 2025. I plan to go in like December of 26 to give it more than a full year to like die down. It's gonna take many years to die down, but I don't want to go in the initial craziness. However, in May of this year, we are going to Universal Studios Hollywood, which I have never been to, and I'm excited about that too. So I'm filling my time with like theme park research and reading and planning and planning and planning and planning. And as much as I enjoy trip planning, like theme park trip planning is some of the best. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. I hope you've been doing well, and leave some comments down below about theme parks or about trash TV. Talk to you later. Bye.